Welcome to Oregon Indie Film, a video podcast that shines the light on Oregon's independent film industry. I'm your host, Dawn Sellers. I interview Oregon's independent filmmakers who offer insights into the creative process, challenges, and triumphs of making movies in Oregon. This episode features award-winning director, filmmaker, and photographer Alicia J Rose. From music videos to politics to a hit web series, she's received wide acclaim from the New York Times, Entertainment Weekly, AV Clug, Paste, Out, and others. Her current production, Menopunks, is a bold, unapologetic documentary that exposes the truth behind science and silence. Backed by a fierce lineup of iconic Portland musicians, hormonally radicalized medical practitioners, and celebrity powerhouses, Menopunks cranks up the volume on a conversation long overdue about menopause and women's right to thrive through midlife and beyond. So I am here today with Alicia J Rose. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I am so excited to talk to you today about your film Menopunks, which, yeah, great. I love it. I love it. When I first heard about this project from Laura, I immediately thought, oh my gosh, what a great concept. But first, before we get into that, can you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm Alicia J Rose. I am a photographer, filmmaker, creative force, formerly in the music business. I was one of the founding people at Nail Distribution. I was there for over a decade, which is a music distribution company. After that, I was the founding booker at Doug Fir Lounge, which was a very popular nightclub here in Portland. Mm-hmm. And then I was also the founding booker and co-owner of Mississippi Studios, the new version as we know it now. And then after that, I kind of started my own production company. I've been a photographer all throughout all of that. And at one point, I did a lot of work for the Decemberists in their early days, album covers and lots of their press photos. And then I was doing more and more work, so much work with bands, and they were asking me, hey, can you start making your photos move so we can have, music videos that look like the photos you've taken, which look like stills from music videos. So I was like, oh yeah, of course. So I'd already learned how to direct when I was a young person in high school and in college, but I grew up in LA and really didn't want that experience and got so swept into music that I basically came back to directing 20 plus years after that point. And so I founded my own production company, Alicia J Rose Productions and Photography, I think in 2008 or 2009, somewhere around then. It really kind of went into full blown mode in like 2012, I think, is when I really feel like that was when I kind of started doing a lot of music videos and lots of other work. So that's my basics. I'm also a musician. I should say that. I'm also a musician.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I played in a band called Party Witch. I used to play music under the name Miss Murgatroyd many years ago. But now I'm middle-aged in a new band at 55, lead singer, playing synthesizer. It's ridiculous, but I love it. So, yeah.
I love that. So who came up with this idea for Menopunks? How did that come about?
I made another feature film. This would be my second feature film. The last one, also an Oregon production called A Cottage for Bernie Madoff.
Mm-hmm. I saw that. It was great.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it premiered in, I think it was 2021 during COVID, which was challenging to say the very least. It was an amazing experience. I helped Alicia Jo Ravens. I should know better. We have the same name.
Yeah.
I helped her kind of really bring her vision to life and her story, which was fantastic, which was a nice departure for me because I did a series called The Benefits of Husbandry before that took a lot of my energy. It was really based on my life and was a big deal. So I kind of, from that project into the Cottage for Bernie Madoff, I wanted to have my second feature I didn't know what I wanted it to be honest. It took me a long time to figure it out. I think for a few years I kind of waffled around. And I think I spent a lot of time, I loved making a cottage with Alicia Jo. And that was in a way me kind of taking a creative not a creative break, but like zooming out a little bit from my own life and the storytelling I had been doing into just getting better at storytelling in general. And also like wanting to have access to different things that exist when you only have made a feature film.
Mhm.
And I didn't expect that that would be my second film, but I basically walked in the room and pitched her, and we were making a movie together. So um, this film, Menopunks, is a different kind of beast. I mean, I really let sort of things come to me in this last phase because the world just kept changing in all these really twisted, ugly
Mhm.
ways. And I mean, making a second movie is on some level a lot easier than making a first feature film because I have a real infrastructure now. I have producers I work with. I have, people who've done well with my work, right? So that there's a whole way to navigate things with a second feature. So I really thought long and hard about what I wanted to do, and I thought about like a rom-com based on my weird middle-aged dating life that is now turning into a very successful marriage. Well, we're about to get married. I don't know if it's successful yet. I hope.
Yeah.
But I wanted something. I wanted to make something that maybe like a few years ago I would have made something a little lighter, basically something more fun, more topical, like not even topical, more like from my own life, like making something funny and more rom-com. I mean, I don't know. I was kind of looking for something from that direction, but I just really didn't feel it. And then, you know, can I cuss in this podcast? Am I allowed to?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so the shit hit the fan in November. We all experienced it. And I just really wanted to make something. The film I was going to make had to have some kind of like core of activism and advocacy in the center. And so I started teaching in fall at Northwest Academy. I started teaching filmmaking, and that kind of combined with giving them the assignment of doing a film with advocacy and activism at the core. And then I basically took the assignment myself. And Menopunks started as a film called Lifers, which won't matter for long, but it basically was sort of talking about my life as a female musician, along with my friends in Portland who are all kind of in their
Mhm.
50s and like playing better than ever. And three of us specifically are all like on hormone therapy and like can't believe we're doing what we're doing after not feeling like we could never do it again just a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to talk about that. Like, you know, what does menopause and perimenopause look like when you're trying to be a creative person? When your creativity is, what it gives you passion and verve for living life, right? And what if something that happens to everybody happens to you? And then instead of being able to maintain the level of output and creativity and passion and curiosity that you're normally channeling, you are cut off at the pass, and suddenly
Mhm.
you're experiencing depression and pain and hot flashes, and you don't know who you are anymore. You look in the mirror and you're like, who am I? I don't even know, like, what am I
Right.
looking at? And so I really thought for a while that like, I wasn't going to be able to be an artist like I am and you are experiencing now today because I was so hormonally deficient, like all women are who go off the cliff of menopause. I was just miserable. So I started figuring it out. And so as this was happening, I was hanging out with my friends, and they also were telling me stories of their experiences getting hormonally optimized, as I call it. And so that built the idea of Lifers, the original course of the film. And then that was kind of where we were going for a minute, but everything kept getting delayed. And ultimately, my producer, Jackie Weissman, shout out to Jackie, Oregon
Mhm.
Media Lab, she's the best. She connected me with, or connected our team with an incredible doctor named Dr. Aoife O'Sullivan. She is portlandmenopausedoc.com. Shout out to her. And she was like, oh, I'll tell you anything. I'm happy to be a part of your film. And not only that, we're doing a menopause conference by our group, the PDX Menopause Collective, in like a week. So
Wow,
like,
perfect
let's
timing.
go. Can I film this to get in? And so they did. I just, film slutted my way in and, took pictures, did video, which I'm glad I have now. And in the context of this like 6 hours that I was there, I became hormonally radicalized. Like I went from thinking I knew about menopause and perimenopause
Mhm.
to comprehending sort of what actually happened to lead us to this moment. And so that really brought and like seeing how these doctors who were part of this PDX Menopause Collective, they were all middle-aged like me, right? They were all
Mhm.
in their 50s, they were all perimenopausal or menopausal, and they basically had become radicalized themselves by their own experiences. And then being doctors and being like, okay, well, whoa, 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 whoa. This is menopause? Okay, well, okay, but I'm doing the research and I think I can take this. And they started not only like hormonally optimizing themselves, which helps, but trying to, do the research. Once they started really doing the research and going deep and diving themselves, they realized, oh, this is all bullshit. We've been lied to for over 2 decades. And I told this story at the conference, and I was like, what? Wait a minute. Like, so hormone therapy causes hormone therapy causes breast cancer, as the narrative is not true. Well, okay, well, how and why? And so, I realized after the course of that 6 hours that like they were fighting to, get the truth out there, like, Fox and or Mulder and Scully, right? Like,
Right. And they're kind of in it. So they have this comprehensive understanding of what women are going through.
But
and
also they're in the system, so they see how screwed up the system is, and then they're regretting to my face. I'm asking, do you regret the women you pulled off hormone therapy? And they're like, oh my God. They're like, we're doing so much work now to advocate and create a new information for people, and it never seems to get better. But like that's what we're doing with our lives now, because we feel so bad that we took women off hormone therapy. So I like, in my mind as a filmmaker, I'm like, whoa, the menopause specialists are totally as punk as the punk rockers, Menopunk. And so the spark of creativity, thanks to hormone therapy, but like the spark of creativity in my the spark of creativity in my neodualistic brain kind of just cohesed in that moment, and Menopunks was really born. And so I realized at that point, it wasn't just telling the stories of musicians like me and our experience in perimenopause and menopause. We're trying to get the truth. We're fighting our doctors. We're trying to do it, but it's at a cost. Like, it's so hard to self-advocate. It was so hard to ask for what I needed, to improve my quality of life. But now, just like those doctors, I'm all about creating self-advocacy for everybody, including in the making of the film, which is where I'm at now with the film. So Menopunks is now, I'll give you the pitch, the quick log line, which is that Menopunks is a feature, here's the pitch. Menopunks is a myth-shattering feature documentary about perimenopause and menopause and the creative process through the lens of Gen X indie riot girl musicians, trailblazing doctors, and very opinionated celebrity culture bearers who have a lot to say about what we lost for over 23 years of systematic disempowerment of more than half the population, from the ages of like 35 and really 100. So, I mean, that's what the film is now. And we're basically in the early stages of production.
And so you've teamed up with musicians because those are your connections. Like, you already knew these women. And so it really all came together. But leave it to Gen Xers to just be pissed off and, we're going to fix this, right?
Look, I think that Gen X knows how to be mad. I mean, punk was born before Gen X, but we really knew what to do with it. We knew how to like kind of weaponize it. And I think that, I want to weaponize punk and turn it into rage that, not only is instilled in our film, but regardless of the film, like my point with the film, my purpose with the film is to hopefully spark, the rage of a generation, hopefully. You can have these dreams, right? So that like we as Gen Xers, and not just us, millennials and lost generation, everybody, my mom is mad. She's in her 80s. She's like, that wasn't true. She's like, I could have slept for all those years. What are you telling me? Like, I mean, this is really a violation that's happened. And so I'm a storyteller, right? So my whole thing is to reframe the narrative. Like, we've been told so much and it's like a bullshit story, but I know how to tell the story. I know what story to tell to get people like focused on what actually matters, which is, where is Gen X in this fight? Right? Like, when we look at our political landscape, where's Gen X? And so this is my like systemic activism. I think about what can I do to get us past this moment, and how do I use my platform, whatever platform I have, to, to make change, to help create a better world for my stepkid. You know what I mean? Like, how do I do that? How do I do it in a way that like, utilizes everything I've got, all my connections, right? So like, it's like kind of a natural, intuitive synthesis of all the things that I am, but like, I had to go through menopause to really figure out how to tell the story, right? So like, I'm not just telling somebody else's story. This is my story too. And I'm trying to represent lots of different opinions. I'm not, just about people who are, for HRT. I'm also going to the other direction and, more than anything, trying to create a really straight up, like truthful informational baseline where people can feel like they can trust what we're saying, and they will, because I'll have the receipts and
Mhm.
all the awesome punk rock infographics.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
it's really, the creativity, like, film and music both are great ways to connect with people. And putting those two things together in this film, I think is brilliant.
Well, and I think that we should, again, zoom out and look at how we got into this moment politically. It really
Right.
was, in some ways, the disturbingly weird weaponization of reality TV. I mean, I hate to say it, and like, pay for play news and the media, film. I mean, it
Mhm.
really is the media that facilitated this environment that we're living in. So my thing is fight fire with fire. And I think hopefully the Democratic Party is starting to do the same, but I certainly am going to do that. I'm fucking 55, fully optimized, with an amazing network of incredible musicians and people in the industry,
Mhm.
and the experience of making, 35 music videos and a feature film and two series. And, like, I'm at a point in my career where I can take what I've learned and what I've got, and I can try to turn it into something that can be a vehicle for change. Right. And I think that in this moment, I mean, that's kind of all I want to do with my time. I mean, I'd like to make more commercials because I do need to make money, and that's been really
Right.
hard this year. Such a weird dearth of commercial work, or at least I'm just not getting it. But at the same time, I feel like I'll find support. I hopefully will find support with this project more and more. We've applied for a million grants, and
Mhm.
so this film is, it's for women, but it's not just for women. It is really like for all people who even care a little about a woman. Like, I think that would encompass probably over 80% of the population of the world, maybe, because I think it's a minority that are really trying to tear us down. But in order to fight this fight, we have to have the energy and we have to care. And
Yeah.
I think that women are saddled with like not having the energy to care.
Right. Right. The women who really, have it in them to fight don't, because of this menopausal loss of, their motivation and their desire to get things done. So it's important, I think, really important information to get out there. And this is a great way to do it. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about Jackie Weissman and Laura Cuddy, or
We haven't really talked about Laura, but I
oh
can,
yeah,
if
yeah.
you ask me about my crew, you can ask about that.
Yeah, let's talk about them. So, had you three worked together before? You said that you kind of brought them together for this film. Um, so, have you three done projects together before this?
So I have an incredible crew, even at this point, my incredible team, and we're not crewing up
Yeah.
yet. Well, sort of a little bit, but I have an incredible team behind this project. It really began, well, Laura Cuddy, one of my primary producers, she and I have been working together for a long time. We did the benefits of husbandry together. We did the vast majority, at least over half of my music videos together. We've done commercials together. We've done short form doc together. We've done a little bit of everything together, and she made Cottage for Bernie Madoff with me. I brought her into that. And so, of course, she's like the first person I call for anything,
Right.
always. But weirdly, this project was sort of just germinating in my head for a long time. And when I met up with Jackie Weissman, she and I were both mentors for women in film.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do it again, actually. It's called Incubate or Educate Incubate, I
Uh-huh.
think, something
The
like that.
Educate Incubate program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we were mentors last year for that. It was pretty fun, and such a joy to really work with all these incredible adult filmmakers who are in different processes, in different, who are all these adult filmmakers who are in different parts of the process of making their films.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie, I think, was talking to documentary filmmakers, maybe in, I don't know if it's pre-production or just generally documentary, but I was talking to narrative filmmakers in post. And I think maybe Dawn is talking about production. Dawn Jones Redstone is also
Mm-hmm.
involved. So Jackie and I, like for like the presentation, they were hanging out, and she was asking me what I was doing, and I was like, "Well, I'm thinking about this film. I haven't quite put it together." And she's like, "Write something down." I was like, "Okay." So then I did, and that became Lifers. She tried to pitch it, not much happened, and then the election happened, and then I really like that started to cohese and.
Mm-hmm.
So a kind of lifers started becoming a thing in sort of the winter, and Laura was on it, and suddenly Jackie jumped on as also as a primary producer. And then I brought on in the spring my wonderful friend Jana, Oh my gosh, what's her, my brain? Jonna Wells. Okay. My wonderful friend, Jonna Wells, who is basically the most badass, successful auctioneer in the land of Oregon and beyond. She is incredible. So she's just, I mean, she knows how to raise money. She knows people who have money. She is just an like indefatigable, positive spirit who, is just smart about this kind of stuff. So she's basically come on as one of our EPs. And then my friend Jody Carilla is come on as an associate producer. She's going to help us sort of connect with celebrity elements. And then we have Julie Nem, who is an incredible cinematographer who's been doing the majority of our cinematography. And she's brought on a few other people. We had Taylor Stump and a few other folks who've kind of come in. And other people we're talking to about other people we're talking to about working on the film or sort of in queue. But we kind of got through the first 8 interviews, which is all of our intake interviews with our 5 primary participants who are Corin Tucker from Slater-Kinney and Filthy Friends, Jody Bliley from Team Dresch and Hazel. I mean, amazing. Kathy Foster from the Thermals and Roseblood. They're all amazing. Gillianne Hanner from Calamity Jane and Desir, and Jen Spraja from the Softies and All Girls Summer Fun Band. So those are our 5 musician participants, all who are different ages, between the ages of like 50 and 57, all different experiences of like being on HRT, getting gaslit by their doctors, not being worried or not wanting to explore hormones for their own reasons, medical or family history, feeling like maybe hormones are, not for them, but they stash them for their trans community. I mean, there's just like a lot of different perspectives in that, right? So I'm planning on basically like working with them, and I'm kind of we're setting a baseline with these first interviews, talking about what they know about hormone therapy, what have they explored, what have they done, how do they feel right now, right? And then the plan is we're pairing some of them with what our participant doctors. So we have 3 of those doctors that I mentioned from the PDX Menopause Collective, Dr. Aoife O'Sullivan, who's like a peri doctor specialist, Nancy Yen Shipley, who's an orthopedic surgeon, like total bone cracker, who also now brings menopause specialty into her practice, which is new in the last year for her,
right,
which is crazy. And then an incredible sleep doctor named Matsumoto, who Sleep Goddess MD. She's amazing. She also brings menopause care and menopause specialty into her practice with, sleep medicine, which is amazing. So all of these doctors have the same experience of feeling incredibly guilty about, taking women off hormone therapy, right? Because, the truth is, like I said, we were lied to, right? This is ridiculous. Like these doctors are getting the answers and they're realizing that they were part of the problem. And so it's exciting, I think, to hear from doctors who are that candid about their guilt and like their feelings about making it worse. And they're just showing them trying to make it better. So that's kind of how I'm following them. And then I'm intersecting them with care. So, following some of our participants through hormonal optimization. What does that look like? What does it look like to have a doctor who listens to you? What is it like to have a doctor that like, really works with you to optimize you in the way that you feel the absolute best and not trying to get you to do something for less because the Journal of American Medicine said it in 2002.
right.
I mean, this is where we're at. So I'm excited to model that. Then the other 2 tracks of the film, one is really going deep with some of the experts and folks who were involved with the WHI and like have called for inquiries, and people who are deep like in the menopause world, the kind of the rock stars of that world, men mostly in their 80s who saw it all went down, who have stories and receipts ready to expose it all. And they've tried before, but they've told me that they've had no luck because people didn't get angry enough. So I'm like, I think I can do that. I think I can handle that. Like, challenge accepted. Let's go. Like, let's fucking go. I feel like Gen X has a unique opportunity, I think, just with who we are, to challenge that status quo because it's not benefiting anybody. And when you look at the larger world that we're in, if you zoom out to look at this world, I mean, we are needed, right? But we need the truth about how to regain our quality of life in order to be a part of it. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the start of something much bigger, I think. Stay right there. We'll be back to hear more from Alicia J Rose. Are you passionate about supporting independent filmmakers and local storytelling? Become a sponsor of the Oregon Indie Film Podcast, where we shine a spotlight on Oregon's thriving independent film community. Our listeners are filmmakers, film lovers, and creative professionals eager to discover local talent and stories. As a sponsor, your brand will reach an engaged, creative audience that values community and authentic storytelling. Join us in celebrating Oregon's indie film scene. Let's bring your brand into the spotlight. Ready to partner? Let's talk.
Calling all filmmakers, performers, and creatives. The Soundstage is your home for high-quality recording in the Portland area. Whether you're working on an audio or video podcast, voiceover project, audiobook, casting your next film, or need help with that self-tape audition, we offer a professional, welcoming studio space. Come record with confidence and mention the Oregon Indie Film Podcast to get $5 off your next session. Learn more about The Soundstage, the Northwest's premier voiceover and recording studio, at thesoundstagenw.com.
Hey there. If you're enjoying this episode of Oregon Indie Film, don't go anywhere. We've got more great conversation coming up. And if you believe in uplifting local voices and the power of independent storytelling, we'd love your support. Hit that follow button, share the show with a friend, or leave us a quick 5-star review. It makes a big difference. Want to get more involved? Reach out at OregonIndieFilm@gmail.com. Now, back to the episode. I think as, this film becomes known and is seen by people, I'm sure that more and more people will be like, oh yeah, I know about that, or here's my experience with that. So do you expect that you would, it might be too early to even ask this question, but have a follow-up film once this is done?
Well, my plan is to I'm sort of making this on 3 levels, right? Like I'm going to make the feature film documentary. I'm going to be making a podcast starting in later fall, like in later September, that will really track along the way of making the film, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And talk to some of these experts and musicians and sort of intersect those worlds in a really powerful, positive, illuminating way, because I want the word about all of this to get out right now. Like, that's why I'm talking to you. It's not a situation where I'm holding it all in until I'm releasing the film, right?
Right.
So we expect the film to be done, hopefully, to go to festivals in 2027. So that's what we're looking at from that perspective. But the podcast will drop in late September. And that, I think, will help a lot of folks kind of get answers sooner, and then my plan, because I'm such an episodic brained person, like I made the benefits of husbandry. It's very addictive. Like, the New York Times said amazing things about it. I had an incredible experience with that. Went to film festivals everywhere. It was really just profound. And getting to make work that people really related to, it was really about the relationship between a woman and her gay best friend, and kind of putting the Gen X spin on that instead of Will and Grace, right? Like I did that with The Benefits of Husbandry, which is available for free on YouTube, or you can watch it on Tubi or Prime or whatever right now.
Nice. We'll put the link to that in the show notes so people can check that out.
Watch it. And it's hilarious. I worked with Courtney Hallmeister, who's brilliant, and had so many incredibly talented actors, including Brooke Topman and Kirk Conroy, and so many folks who are in so many of the films that we see come out of Oregon, like Yanni and Dana and all these folks who are just brilliant. I am an episodic nerd, so I already am thinking about making this into a longer form episodic, where it's like a half an hour or an hour per episode. Because as I collect everything, even for the feature film, I already have more than enough for a feature film, and I've only just begun. So I'm going to have a lot. And so what I want to do is, get everybody's stories for now, get these stories. I want to talk to celebrities, like, who knows who will get, but like I dream is Patti Smith, or Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, or Kim Gordon, or, folks who've kind of maybe a little past it or in it or in a zone where they can comment on how they feel about 23 years of being violated by bullshit.
Right. Well, and like I said, I think more stories will come. You start the podcast this fall, and, you start interviewing people will show up, and never ending supply, because it has been just bullshit for so long.
Well, and we deserve better. I think
we
that's
do.
the bottom line. And women, beyond just this film, whatever, like, I mean, it's hard to be a woman in the film industry. No matter how much better things have gotten. Well, now they're trying to tear it all up and make the assholes in the lighting department feel good again about being dicks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean to be serious, but like that's something we've been fighting against forever in this town. Not just the lighting department. They're in every department.
They're in every department, yeah.
But they're also amazing men in the industry, right?
Yes.
But it's a real mix, and even some of the amazing ones say dumb shit sometimes. So it's it's a weird world. And like, I mean, this year has been I would consider an unqualified nightmare for my commercial business. I've had no work since Trump was elected, put into office, none. And it's crazy. Like I was doing so much better last year and the year before. It's mind-boggling. Luckily, I'm teaching. You know what I mean? Luckily, I mean, I try to have somewhat of a support system. I'm a photographer. I'm flexible. I can do other things. I can do short things. But the amount of stuff I have going for trade, even for my wedding, is I'll never work for money again. Like basically but that's not fair. I feel like
it's not fair.
Incredibly good at what I do. And I'm not the only one. I'm bringing up a crew of women, non-binary trans folk with me. I will never stop doing that, no matter what they fucking say about anti-DEI. They're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
They know that we've won. It's just a matter of waiting. And so like they are the minority. We know this. We all get it, right? It's not really rocket science to see. They're idiots, but they're idiots with really good planning skills.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the evil behind the Tea Party leads to Project 2025, leads to, you know, overturning Roe v. Wade and corrupting the court and, you know, all this stuff I don't need to go into. We all watch Rachel Maddow.
Yeah, we all know what's going on. It's just a ongoing disaster, really. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that filmmakers, you know, we, not just me, but like filmmakers, I think women specifically, really should be raising their voices right now. And all I'm trying to do with this film is like help them do that. I want people to know the truth and then the juicy story behind why we've been getting served the lies. Because it's juicy. Like people wanted to sink HRT. Some of these experts I've been talking to say things like, you know, this one who founded the North American Society, this one doctor who founded the North American Menopause Society and the International Menopause Society, his words were like, you know, I think it's criminal. I think it's immoral. You know, this is a crime women don't even realize been perpetrated on them. And I think that really caught my attention. And I was like, oh, now I know what story I'm going to tell. I just have to really thoughtfully weave in the personal with the political and then the like seriously practical.
Yeah. And so you've started filming. You have some already done, but you're fundraising. So let's talk about that a bit. And so do you want to share your budget? Do you have a budget?
I mean, sure. I think that the budget is somewhere in the $500,000 zone, and that's kind of the zone. But, you know, it's, as all filmmakers know, we kind of do what we can as we get money. Hopefully, as we build momentum, we're applying for a bunch of grants, but we're also fundraising through individuals and through merch. Here, I'll show you
oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
Here's a hat.
Yeah.
I'm obviously, you know, merch first, movie second kind of a person. But I'm a musician. That's what we do.
We got to market.
Exactly. It's, you know, merch before a record, you know, that's how we work.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've been filming everything so far. We filmed in Oregon, and we'll do a ton more filming in Oregon, including concert footage and following all of our participants and lots of other fun things. But we are fundraising now to really begin principal production in the fall. So we hope to start filming fully, like soup to nuts, like with not only like following our participants in Oregon and what that costs with supporting the local economy, right? Filmmakers, primarily women, and people like non-binary and trans folk. But we also want to film them, you know, in other places, and potentially more importantly than that, we want to go to the places where the experts are, so we can do more than a Zoom interview in our film. Ideally. You know, and we want to be able to figure out who new experts are and talk to other people we haven't talked to. Or what if I could talk to Gloria Steinem? I mean, you know, who else can we get to comment on this that really have sparked these revolutions before?
Right.
So we're funding for that. And I think, you know, ultimately also, like, I've got celebrities committing. Nico Case is already on the calendar, which is exciting. And hopefully Margaret Cho. And I've talked to others. Bratmobile said yes. And there'll be others as I go along. I mean, luckily for me, I have a long history in the music business, which is incredible. And now I can use all of those contacts to bring this together, right? So those three threads, that's the film. But everything's basically on my credit card right now.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. I know. Yeah.
At this moment, it's like, it is this leap of faith that is 1000% terrifying.
Yeah.
And I have to really believe in myself and believe in my team and believe in my participants and believe in the universe so that I know this isn't just me. I'm banking on my intuition, thinking that maybe I'm tapping into something here that could really, it could really take off. And potentially it could help spark what needs to happen, which is ultimately a tidal rage of, it would help spark what would ultimately need to happen, which is a tidal wave of rage from Gen X that helps open the eyes of all the other generations around us and create an unwillingness to accept the lies and to be as punk as possible with rejecting them and, demanding what we should never have been denied, which is proper hormonal care and gender affirming care for everybody, not just, trans folk, which, the idiots have used to marginalize that kind of care. But gender affirming care is really just about hormones, and hormones are in every human body. Estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone is in every single human body. So my hormonal optimization is just slightly different than somebody who's trying to achieve, their gender outcome, really realize themselves in that way, right? So it's just like tomato. You can't criminalize one without really criminalizing the other. I saw a video about this where basically they're starting to deny coverage of HRT based on you answering the right or wrong questions from your insurance questionnaire. So if you are getting it for the wrong reason, you don't get it. If you're getting it for the right reason, what is that? So
who determines what the right reason is,
I'll tell you who, assholes. That's but we are fundraising, and I think that we're asking people to consider we have a fiscal sponsor.
Catalyst is, that's fantastic.
So people can go to our website, which is menopunks.com, and they can, do a tax deductible donation, which is incredible. They can buy merch, they can buy a hat, they can do any of that. They can, support us that way. And, beyond all of that, they can amplify it because we want to spark a movement. I know this is just a film and I'm not trying to be anything. I know myself. I know women that are like me. The more one by one, the more we become hormonally radicalized, we all want this to change. It has to change. The bullshit stops with Gen X, and this film is going to help change that.
Yeah, it is more than just a film. It's really an issue of women's health care in general, that, we all know as women, we're not getting the proper health care in these current times. But this just sort of brings to light that we haven't been getting it as we should for many years.
And I think that not understanding that we've literally suffered a mass violation of our potential bettering of our quality of life, that's kind of huge. It really is. That's 23 years of pain that women suffered, of so many deaths. So many women died. This was really, truly criminal. It really was. So many women died of osteoporosis. So many women are still in nursing homes with Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is now known as a women's disease. Did you know that?
Yeah.
70% of people with Alzheimer's are women. Yeah. And they say that hormonal deficiency is directly correlated to the onset of Alzheimer's. And then ultimately, as your body weakens, it just gets worse and worse as your brain starts to implode on itself because it has so many estrogen receptors. So there's so many, every part of the body is affected. So it's not just about relieving hot flashes, right? It's not just about even relieving my achy hip or my sore joints or my brain fog. It's about aging better and living longer, healthier lives and being able to be in the societal, political, creative, cultural discourse in a real way that allows our voices to be side by side or even above the assholes.
Right.
We're nowhere to be found right now, and it's a problem.
Well, they like it that way, so We have to
It's not an
change that.
accident. Let's just
And
be
it's
clear. We all
not
read
an-
Project 2025 that they like
Yeah.
denied, oh, it's never happening. But then you read through and you're like, how long were they planning this? My
Oh,
God. Like,
yeah.
so like we have to organize too. We have to think about this on a larger level. We have to, figure out the truth. Is it something you want for yourselves? At least know that, there are things you can do one way or the other. There's transdermal, there's all these ways of experiencing. There's estrogen cream that's like vaginal cream that can be so safe for almost everybody. It still has a black box warning on it that needs to go. That isn't even dealt with yet. I mean, we are so far behind. So I feel like, I don't know what else to do with my time because apparently like the industry is imploding along with this hellhole that we're in, and hardly anybody is getting the work that they were getting. I mean, we're all in this together, but at least we can band together here in Portland, which has the spirit of DIY, to make this one way or the other. I mean, that's the deal. That is how this is getting made. So
Yeah, this film is getting made and the message is going to get out there. So let's just talk for a moment about what else this film I know is consuming you because that's how film works, but you're teaching. So tell us about that a little bit.
So I am teaching filmmaking to high schoolers, private high school at Northwest Academy, which has been really fun and a delight to work with all these young minds and creative spirits. And I'm kind of teaching them how to make music videos first semester, which is super fun.
I bet they love that. Yeah.
Kind of my wheelhouse, and they all love it. And then this will be my second year, so it's still pretty fresh. And then the second term, they're doing short films. It can be anything they want, but it has to have some kind of narrative thread, or at least documentary narrative thread. So that's been fun. I'm also going for another year, as I mentioned, for Educate Incubate. I'll be mentoring adults, which is really fun, and I love doing that. So that'll be another year of that. I'm in a band called Party Witch. We just recorded, excuse me. I'm in a band called Party Witch. We just recorded a new EP that will hopefully even turn into an album. We're calling it Anger Bangers. And, going to make a music video for the band and play shows. And you know what I mean? Like that's happening. Hopefully we're going to do a benefit concert for Menopunks that I'm right now calling Menopalooza.
Oh, nice. I like that.
That will happen later in the fall or winter or whatever.
Yeah.
I am getting married in a week. I grew 250 dahlias from seed that all my friends are growing.
Wow.
There's a lot going on in my life, but I feel like, it's a big part of me feeling this good and being able to enjoy this moment truly is because I found so much relief in bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. I mean, for me, it was an absolute game changer. I mean, it affected my ADHD. Like they say that, hormonal deficiency with women, especially when you are in menopause proper, although it's pretty much just as bad in perimenopause and almost more torturous because you're feeling fine, then you're not. And you're like, what is happening to me? But in menopause, you are just like with women, it's just, you're done. Men go on a slow decline. Women are like off the lemming cliff. Boom, you're finished. And I think Kelly Casperson referred to it as it's the equivalent of castration. Men. And if you think about it that way.
Because your hormones are just cut off.
So like all those hormones that make you juicy and healthy, regenerative bones, like all of it, the stuff that like helps you heal when you sleep, that helps you sleep, all of that. Like, I mean, there's nothing shameful about trying to get help with something that otherwise might kill you, like diabetes or thyroid problems. You also need hormones for those. And look, in the 90s, these hormones we're talking about that are so taboo were prescribed the same as diabetes medication and thyroid medication. Like we have gotten so off track with this narrative of, hormone therapy causes breast cancer that like we've lost the plot. And now it's like such a chaotic nightmare out there for women from the age of 35 forward. And there's a new millions of women every year coming into this that nobody knows what to do. So we're relying on whisper networks. And, all we want to do with Menopunks is turn those whisper networks into a roar, into a scream. So we have to so we will be heard, basically. Like, and the problem is we're in this moment where the whole political system is trying to silence us. So in a way, like, as all filmmakers know, it's better to have a story with high stakes.
Yeah, these are pretty high stakes, I think.
So the stakes are high. I feel like I've got a really good narrative. And I'm in a moment where like, I hope we can find grant funding and, we've got a lot to do and I want to do it fast. I mean, faster than my producers think it can be done, but I know it can be done. I'm also the editor, right?
Yeah.
So I'm working with Laura Rowe also, who's going to co-edit with me, but like I understand storytelling. I'm so lucky to understand it. I worked so hard to teach it to myself. I barely went to any kind of film school. It was really DIY film school for me through like the Northwest Film Center, now Pam Cut, a little tiny couple of classes and like learning in high school. And now it's like, as a photographer, I came into it with such a visual eye that I was able to really like find a way to reconcile the tech with the aesthetic right away. And so now, you know, I feel like I have a pretty specific voice no matter what I lend it to cinematically, and that's exciting, but I need to build my career too. So, you know, this film is also a vehicle for that, right? It's a vehicle that will hopefully lead me into making more films for Menopunks.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think so.
that's my hope.
Well, I'll put all the links in the show notes for your website and the merchandise and all of those things.
Can I blab about like socials for a second?
Yeah. Where can we find you on socials?
So you can follow Menopunks, go to our website, go to menopunks.com, 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 sign up for our mailing list. You can buy merch there. You can make a tax-deductible donation. You can amplify us by following us on Instagram. We're Menopunks there, or on TikTok, we're Menopunks Film, or on Facebook, Menopunks there. There's lots of ways to sort of get into the loop of what we're doing. I'm like a very incessant poster on Instagram specifically, and I'm all about, like, if people write to me telling me what their problem is, I like follow 450 menopause doctors. Like, who can do that, right? Like, I don't follow any of my friends. I just follow musicians and menopause doctors.
It's become your life, like I said.
So I'm like a sieve of information now, where I'm just like I'm like literally sponging it all up. Like, I know what's coming in and going out, and I'm like, you know, now that all my synapses are firing, thanks to bioidentical hormonal optimization, I really see all those connections. So I'm excited to build the podcast. You know, keep an eye out for that. If you sign up for our list on the site, I'll let you know when that drops, or even when it's launching, so people can pre-subscribe. Because I think that will open up so many more conversations, and I can bring doctors I'm not talking to in the film, like menopause specialists who are cancer doctors who are now menopause specialists, and you know, folks who have differing opinions about HRT, and even for themselves as a middle-aged woman, or also from a medical practitioner perspective or a different perspective. I was just on a podcast where I spoke to this guy, awesome musician named Randy Randall, and his wife. And then him and another guy kind of did a breakdown of the episode after to talk about what we talked about. And I was like, I'm listening to men talk about menopause. It's amazing. So there's that's part of what I want to bring into this as well. So I feel like, you know, we're just getting started, but I want to invite people along for the ride of Menopunks. I think making the movie is really as much fun as watching the movie.
Right.
So I want to bring people into that process, and it's like such a part of the creative process. And I am such a, you know, wild-eyed dynamo with this stuff sometimes that, you know, I think it's pretty fun, and getting to do all this work it's a joy. So, and getting to do it with the hope of maybe potentially sparking even a little change, even just through my friends, that's already happening. So I'm excited to, you know, amplify that whisper network. Fuck whispering. Like, we're done. Like, punk is not about whispering.
No, it's about screaming and yelling and shouting it out. And so I think, you know, that's a good point too. Like, you know, hopefully people can kick in a few bucks and help you raise the money. But even if they can't afford to do that, just amplifying, you know, sharing, talking about it, telling your friends about it. I think, you know, menopause is one of those things we don't talk about. You know, women's healthcare in general, we don't talk about it. We need to talk about it because we're all experiencing that. And I'm excited for this film because I think it's going to open some of that up.
Thank you so much. Yeah, me too. I'm cautiously optimistic about everything in my life. But I have to have faith in myself and all the women I know who are just, you know, transcending any expectation I had of them and blowing my mind just with my own team and all of my participants and all the people I'm meeting along the way in making this film. I mean, it is, it takes more than a village to make this kind of change, and we need direction. And luckily, I like to tell people what to do. So I'm good at being a director. And I'm not necessarily telling them what to do, but I'm good at guiding people into creative zones and like helping that fill in the big picture. So I'm excited with where this film is going. I'd love to talk to you again when we're further along in the process. Check in and see where we're at and what's happened. Because my mind gets blown every 3 days with what I'm finding out. And I'm like, I have to share this. So it's exciting. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
For putting the film, and excited to just get going. So please help us if you can.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll reach out again once things kind of get going, and we'll bring you back in and do a follow-up.
Yeah. Fabulous. Sounds great, Dawn.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like to continue the conversation with Alicia J Rose, reach out to her. If you want more information about Menopunks and how you can help support this project, visit menopunks.com. You'll find all of these links and more in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave a 5-star review and share it on your social media. It helps us connect with more indie film lovers. Want to support the podcast by becoming a guest or a sponsor? Reach out at OregonIndieFilm@gmail.com.